People watching are envious of the offer. But Kinhyuk knows well, and he is not that gullible, because no matter how much they try to offer him, he has no intention to join the association. One highly skilled player is more valuable than 100 average players. Han Jiangjin knows this fact, which is why he has come forward with a blank check to win players like Kinhyuk over. Though, he has another idea in mind. Kinhyuk thinks that as the head of the association, Jangan must have a nice skill. He is intrigued by trying to copy Jangan's skill. Another important matter will come soon, as Kinhyuk checks up on the time. When the clock hand points at a new hour, exactly at 7 p.m. tonight, the Tower of Trial will open. A moment later, a notification appears saying that the Tower of Trial has opened. Players come in from the entrance gate, welcomed by a beautiful plain of land ready for adventure. These players are mesmerized by how it's exactly the same as how they remember the tower to be, including Kinhyuk. To commemorate their entrance into the tower, they are all provided with 100 coins each. The notification also explains that players can upload videos of their personal achievement and receives 100 coins for every 10,000 views. However, the fee differs depending on the player's rank. The player can also broadcast their adventure in conquering the tower. In the event that players are caught manipulating views or engaging in other misconduct, appropriate measures will be taken. Kinhyuk understands this well. This is a bridge between those ascending the tower and regular people living outside the tower. Viewers increase the view count of the player who has a higher chance of reaching the top of the tower. This system is the most entertaining part of the Tower of Trials. The more popular one becomes, the more coins one can get. After reading the welcome tutorial, players start running ahead intending to make money and to start their adventure. It's clear that everyone here wants to clear the tower and get ahead of everyone else. For Kinhyuk, earning coins should be easy since he knows everything about the tower, but he is not planning on uploading any videos as of yet. He understands well that leaking all this knowledge he has for a few coins would be a bigger loss for him. As he smiles brightly, he has decided to take the road less traveled. Remembering the past, there was a time when he would just start the tower's 30th floor and felt like he couldn't proceed any further. He was scouring the lower floors to gather hidden pieces he needed to get to the next floor, and that meant he occasionally retraced his previous steps. In the end, he found the answer he needed in a ruin. That was when he realized that his character was flawed from the start. That is what he gets for searching through all the lower floors. The character he spent years grinding with was a terrible one. That realization brings him pain, as he rages knowing that fact. In the end, he strengthens his resolve, deletes his character, and decides to start over with a promise to reach the top. Kinhyuk remembers this resolve as he arrives in front of a rank B labyrinth, named Labyrinthos. In order to get past the third floor, one needs a solid foundation. The key to building one is right before him inside Labyrinthos. It is extremely depressing to go at this all over again. While he put some pattern in order to open the gate, Kinhyuk strengthened his resolve once more. Even though he is not feeling happy about it, the nostalgic feeling this brings about is not so bad. Inside, he reminisces about how the place looks and how it smells is the same as before. Luminous moths fly around the hall, illuminating the room. A moment later, Kinhyuk was startled by the fact that people were following him inside. A young girl nicely smiles, greeting him. She confesses that they were looking for a place to farm, and the labyrinth's door was open, so they slipped in before it closed. In fact, 10 minutes before, these people are sneaking around spying on Kinhyuk. They followed him because he looked like he was onto something. They watched as he entered the labyrinth as soon as he got there, even without a gate key. The girl suggests to go after him. One of her group tries to prevent them from going in because they don't know how big and what type of labyrinth it is. Eventually, she convinces them the early game is really big if they are able to snowball, and adding the fact that one player is able to enter without a key, it must have been an easy labyrinth to clear. One of them wonders if Kinhyuk will share the item if they enter, but this brown-haired swine intends to kill him inside. That's how they decided to come in, and the skinny brown-haired swine is Park Hannah. With a single glance, Kinhyuk assumes they are trying to take advantage of him because they outnumbered him by a bunch. So Kinhyuk uses the Eye of the Truth. Upon closer look, he finds that the swine has an interesting skill called commune. This skill allows the user to easily be friendly with someone they meet for the first time. The condition to copy the skill is that Kin-hyuk must spend time with her for 240 hours, and no other person is allowed to be with her besides him. It's a skill that Kin-hyuk knows will help him later to deal with an annoying mobs. Definitely intriguing for him to copy it. A fodder steps forward introducing himself as Jang Kyolsik and reveals that he played the first floor a bit before he gave up. Another one is Lee Hyaman with the same circumstance. Jang Mina, a black-haired woman with a green jacket, has been played up to the third floor. Cheon Minguk, a blonde man who never played. Lastly is Du Kwangwu, a black-haired man wearing glasses who also never played. On the surface, Kin-hyuk welcomes them with a smile. While he understands very well that they are going to stab him in the back later, there's no need to really remember their names. Out of a sudden, Hannah grabs Kin-hyuk's arms, asking how high he climbed the tower, while at the same time using her commune skill on him. That instant, Kin-hyuk pushes her aside, realizing both how she uses the skill and that she tries to use it on him as he claims that he tried as high as he could. That startled Hannah for a bit because her skill should have been working, but in the end, she tries again by asking whether this labyrinth is hard and how to clear it. Looking around the labyrinth, Kin-hyuk explains that this place is not hard at all. In fact, it will change shape at certain times, which confuses this party full of swine. Suddenly, just as Kin-hyuk said, the whole labyrinth is shaking. Hannah is extremely perplexed because this labyrinth is only on the first floor, where suddenly a wall of stone moves towards her. That would really crush her to pieces, unfortunately. She manages to leap aside out of the wall's way. Fortunately for Kwangwu, he closely dodged the wall from above after Kyolsik warned him about it. Once the shape stops changing, the party starts to gather their thoughts. One of the fodder can only wonder how a labyrinth like this is on the first floor. The other are Kin-hyuk with Hannah, and Hyaman look pretty alright. The moment she can gather her thoughts, Hannah asks Hyaman to use her skill to locate the exit. Terror falls upon her face, revealing the fact that her skill was deactivated the moment the labyrinth changed shape. So they bicker over the fact that they are trapped in there, on top of the fact that Hyaman is unable to use her skill to look for an exit. Kin-hyuk now finally realizes why they waltzed into the labyrinth so confidently, and it turns out they must have been relying on Hyaman's skill. Kin-hyuk brushes his mind out of thinking about this newbie because he knows well that something dangerous will come soon. Before he could do anything else, Hannah turned to him and screamed, asking why he hadn't told them something so important before. She is mad because of the wall flying everywhere. They got scraped and banged up trying to dodge that thing because of Kin-hyuk. The other also tried to blame him for keeping that information to himself, and they lost Mina because of it. Kin-hyuk simply blames them for following him because he never asked them to follow them in the first place. With killing intent in his eyes, Kin-hyuk emphasizes the fact that they're the ones who decided to come in here, and Kin-hyuk didn't drag them here by force. Rage came over Minguk's mind as he summons his weapon, claiming he didn't like Kin-hyuk the second he saw him. As he going to attack Kin-hyuk, suddenly his body flew through the room because of an attack came from an axe hit him. His party mates are shrieking in terror, looking at the brutality served in front of their eyes. Before they know what they're dealing with, a Minotaur comes running toward them, so they summon each of their starting weapon. In an instant, the Minotaur takes his axe and roars toward the party. Hannah is unable to move because of the fear she feels deep within her mind. On the other hand, instead of cowering in fear, Kin-hyuk tells them to step aside as he dashes toward the Minotaur, leaving Hannah extremely confused with what Kin-hyuk is trying to do. The moment he arrives right in front of the Minotaur, he swings his axe trying to bash him in the head. The moment the axe lands on the floor of the labyrinth, Kin-hyuk is already leaping in the air, dodging the incoming attack. That is the moment that he is looking for, getting grazed by the Minotaur's attack. A notification appears, saying that Kin-hyuk has acquired the hidden stat called Rift. It is a stat that reduces the level gap against significantly stronger opponents and increases the gap against weaker opponents. This is what Kin-hyuk looks for. When fighting against a stronger opponent, their difference in levels can be reduced by 1 level for 3 points. After countless attempts, this was the only way Kin-hyuk found for level 1 to grow stronger. He has already gone up against this guy's attacks tens of thousands of times. With every attack he dodged, his rift stats increased by 0.05, and dodging his attack patterns is like muscle memories for Kin-hyuk. That's because he is a hardcore gamer. He knows well, no matter how strong his attacks are, they are useless if he can't land it. Hannah and their party now realize how stupid they are for thinking to steal from Kinhyuk after seeing him dodge the Minotaur attack with such ease. On the other hand, Kinhyuk keeps provoking the Minotaur, saying at this rate he will never be able to land a single hit, making the Minotaur roar in rage, while Kinhyuk is happily grinning as an axe goes straight for his neck. He knows well that the quickest way to get stronger is simple, which is to place a risky bet on his own life. Kinhyuk deliberately tanked this Minotaur to increase his stats. The moment the axe grazes his neck when he dodges it, his rift stat increases by 1 whole point. The higher the risk, the higher the rewards. Sacrificing a little skin for a stat point is a pretty sweet deal. Still, if his luck runs out while doing this, things could get dangerous, so Kinhyuk needs to wrap this up as soon as possible. On the other hand, the party of swine is trying to sneak out without him knowing. Hyman puts his hand on Hannah, saying that she wants to go out of there while Hannah is trying to calm her down, saying that eventually they will come across an exit. Suddenly Kinhyuk comes out of nowhere, asking where they're trying to go. With it, he also brings the Minotaur behind him, saying they should join him for stat points. At that moment, the Minotaur swings his axe again, and this time he is going for the fodder as well. Right that instant, Kinhyuk yanks Hannah out of the way while leaving some to be butchered by the incoming attack. He warns her to not just stand there and suggests she duck or put some distance between herself and the monster. Not to forget, he also taunts the Minotaur again. Before he could do anything else, the time for the labyrinth-changing phase came. At that moment, Kinhyuk waves the Minotaur goodbye as the wall moves between them. Seeing that, with raging feelings toward that annoying puny human, the Minotaur tries to bash the wall with his axe. That does nothing more than give the labyrinth a little quake, while Hannah is left extremely feared of the bed she made. Kiolsik, the red-haired man, sighs in relief for surviving after almost dying. Unfortunately, Minguk and Hyman died. Hannah wonders whether the Minotaur is going to after them. So Kinhyuk reveals after he touched the luminous moths earlier, he will be chased by the Minotaur to the depths of hell. Hannah asks why would he do something that insane. Kinhyuk nonchalantly explains that because he needs to raise his stats, adding when the labyrinth shifts, he can rest and recharge his stamina. And when that calf seeks him out, he plays with it some more. Hannah asks how much longer he plans to do that. Kinhyuk going to do this routine for a whole month? The fodders won't deal with this for a whole month, so they express wanting to move on their own. As they walk away, Kinhyuk asks which way are they going, because walking around blindly could be more dangerous. Staying close to Kinhyuk is safer, since he knows this labyrinth inside out and the way to exit as well. In the end, they decide to stay with him. Before they could say anything else, Kinhyuk threatened them to cough out all of their coins. Somewhere else, a player named Hamosu cleared the whole goblin dungeon by himself. He became the first player to clear this dungeon, pulling in millions of views and raking in thousands of gold coins. This is a shenanigan pulled by a party with editing magic. They support Hamosu with their skill and get out of the camera angle to make it seem one person cleared it solo. As they enjoy their fame from views, which results in a bunch of gold coins, someone else uploads a video of upgrading an item to 10 enhancement for the first time, taking their most popular video spot. 10 minutes before that in the labyrinth, Kinhyuk asks the fodders to listen well to his words. He commands them to pick up moss and make a bed out of it so they don't sleep on the cold, hard rock of the labyrinth's floor. In the meantime, Kinhyuk's starting his own thing as well. He opens the store with a command code. After robbing the fodder's coin, he now has enough to buy what he needs to make something in his mind. First, he buys a bunch of random items, which is one enchanted tarot card, an old and battered bronze key fragment, a wooden wheel fragment, and lastly, 10 lottery enchantment scrolls. All of these items are seemingly random low-rank items for casual players. But Kinhyuk knows it well. By combining 3 of the items, he successfully gets the Goddess Fortuna's Wheel of Fortune. Even though it's imperfect, it has an S acquisition difficulty class, which allows the user to raise luck to max capacity for 10 minutes with a limited scope upon usage. If one doesn't know the limit of applying luck, that good luck can all go to waste. Knowing the mechanic of luck all too well, Kin-hyuk takes out his dagger. Then he uses the Wheel of Fortune, maximizing his luck stat. The lottery enchantment scroll boasts the absolute worst success rate, but Kin-hyuk luck is on maximum, making it 100% success. Using these mechanics, Kin-hyuk put all of 10 pieces the upgrading scroll into the dagger. A bunch of enhancement successes followed the attempt. In the end, Kin-hyuk acquired Old Dagger with 10 enhancement upgrades. He becomes the first person to successfully create the first 10 enhancement upgrade items on the Korean server, giving him a bonus of 5,000 gold coins, while also putting this achievement on the Hall of Fame. Along with it, the video of the achievement will be uploaded into the forum, while Kin-hyuk is trying his new dagger. Smiling happily, he feels satisfied after finding a decent weapon. Before long, 10 days pass in a flash. The duo fodder is extremely dejected with their predicament. They make campfires out of twigs inside the labyrinth and sleep on beds of moss, and all they have to eat are mushrooms and moss. Both of them are miserable compared to Kin-hyuk, who sleeps soundly, recovering his stamina after the whole day, raising his stats. The Minotaur ambushes them at certain intervals, and every change in the labyrinth is a life or death event to themselves. While Kin-hyuk took that deadly event all in stride. In the meantime, Hannah is grumbling about how her life turns out to be at this moment. She also communicates with the people she chooses to support her from outside of the tower. They are reporting that they failed to find any information about Kin-hyuk. They also try to snoop around his channel only to find nothing in return. To top it all, they also find nothing regarding the labyrinth that Hannah is currently in. She can only try to put up with this for another 3 weeks. Talking to Kyo-sik, suggesting if they kill Kin-hyuk and wait in the labyrinth until her brother comes, they might be able to get out of this alive. So Kyo-sik stands up. He picks up a stone, trying to bash it into Kin-hyuk's head, who seems soundly sleeping.